Hey guys, I'd just like to make a quick video about how to learn from and recover from bad losses. When you're going through your games, usually you should do some in-depth stuff, review without the computer, understand where it went wrong. But sometimes when you're just playing some quick rapid or blitz games online, you just get destroyed so fast and you just want to get some quick answers and some quick remedies. So I think this is a nice kind of shortened way to remedy quick losses that are due to opening mistakes. And this is just my own personal process. It uses just Lichess, chessbase, and chessable. So the first and third of those are free. Chessbase is just kind of an improved version of the Lichess database that we have right here, because it just has like a higher amount of master games, and some annotated stuff and some other things. But steps 1 and 2 can both be done with Lichess if you just don't want to get chessbase. So yeah, so here's my process. So I just played this game. I was white against a strong player here, 2478. Maybe a bit of a new account because he gained 16 points here for beating someone 150 points under them. But either way, underrated or not, whether you're playing the computer, you can learn a lot from those games. So e4, c6, d4, d5. I was happy to see a Caro-Kann initially because I played this opening. So takes, a Panov, knight f6, knight c3, and g6. So stopping here just for a moment because this is the first moment in the game where I was like, I don't know a lot about that move. I've seen it before, but I don't really know a lot. So if you're a strong player or any player and you're at move 5 and you're already facing something that you just don't understand the plan or even the next move, it's not a good sign. So I play the most common response here, but one that I don't think I'll be playing anymore after this short analysis. I play knight f3, bishop g7, and c5. So knight f3 and c5 are pretty normal moves in this structure, but cleverly, black has kind of set things up in a way where this just isn't the right way to go. Already, if you look at the win percentages for Lichess, you see it's 42-51. So not a huge difference, but it definitely isn't the favorite in terms of practical chances. All right, so they castle. I play bishop d3. It's a normal motif to control the e4 square in these openings. So I just kind of naturally do that. They play bishop g4. And already I start to realize during the game that I'm in some trouble. So the main idea for white in a lot of these pawn structures is to stop black from playing e5 and ruining your little center structure. So black already has a nice way to get rid of a piece that can stop that. So I play h3. And if you look at what black played, it already have a 75% win. So takes, knight c6, and I can't stop e5. So I play bishop e3 looking to guard my pawn, and e5. And here I realize I'm already in major trouble. So in the game, I see that they're threatening 2 different forks of my minor pieces. So I try to just take, and of course, after knight takes e5, queen e2, there is another fork. So this is a pretty good example of a strong player just using their superior opening knowledge, not necessarily understanding, but just knowledge to just crush another player. I consider myself a pretty strong player relatively. It's all relative, but this just shows that if you don't have proper understanding of a new line, you can just get walked off the board. So I was pretty annoyed at this game. So first I realize I have to understand this position. So I go back to the first spot where I was like, I lost the thread here. I don't really know what to do. And this is where I started using chessbase. So I'm going to switch over to that application now. But if you don't have chessbase, these are things you can just use the Lichess database to do as well. So switching over to chessbase here. All right, so chessbase is a really strong application that you can hook up a database to get a really nice kind of set of Grandmaster games to look at. So these are all my databases. I don't know why it says this one right here, because what's being used is Mega Database 2023. So let's just go to the position where things went wrong. So here's the spot. So looking at all these Grandmaster games already, I see some Carlsen, some Karpov. I see some very strong players in the names list. That's a good sign. That means that these are reasonable moves already, nothing weird. And the top two moves are not what I played. In fact, Knight f3 is common, but scores very well for black. I think it's okay, to play Knight f3. 43 isn't that bad, but it's definitely not good for white. Sometimes these moves are played by great players such as Aronian or Van Forest because they have some sort of preparation later. Really, any opening is playable if you are able to prepare for all the moves. Like you can even play the Elephant Gambit at a 2000 level if you know what you're doing. But this is about trying to find solutions that you can use for later. So in the game here, I played c5, or actually wait, I played knight f3, which isn't the best move. So I'm going to use chessbase now to try to look for a different answer and gain some understanding. So first I looked at queen b3. I saw bishop g7, taking the pawn, castles, knight ge2, knight bd7, and already the plan is starting to become clear to me. So black is just allowing me to keep this pawn, and they're going to win it back later with just really nice development. So g3 and bishop g2. So at this point I'm going to stop. I'll actually go one more move. I'll castle. And the scores are pretty good, much better than 43%, and I seem to have good practical chances, maybe even chances to hang on to the pawn. So I already like this a great deal, better than what I played in the game. So let's look at the other top move here. After bishop g7, we have c takes d5. So again, I'm just going to walk through the top moves and try to gain an understanding of the position. Same move, knight ge2, same move from black. Oh wait, whoops, I didn't go back far enough. All right, here we go. So now c takes d5. So I just looked at queen b3. Okay, so in this one, the bishop goes on c4 to immediately protect the pawn. Castles, knight ge2. And we reach this position. So if we compare the lines, the only difference is my bishop's on b3 rather than on g3 and bishop g2. So in terms of tempos, so in the other line I played g3 and bishop g2, and in this line I played bishop c4 and bishop b3. So both of them equal in time, but I would say I prefer my bishop on g2. It just feels less bullyable. I'm looking at things like a7 to a5. And I'm just thinking that I like g3, bishop g2 a little bit better. So when I feel like I'm getting close to a decision, the next thing I do is I go back to the thread lost point, which was g6 for me. That's when I didn't really know what to do. And I try to look at this list and find a move that hasn't been played often, but scores pretty well. So first one that jumps out to me, 62.5% for white, for g3, and that's a move that came up in the other line as well. So what happens if I played it really early? Why isn't this something that people do? Last time it was played by a master was 2020, so for the last 3 years people just said this is nonsense. So let's look at it. g3, bishop g7, and now we start to see the scores are not quite so good after a few moves. 34%, 26%. So we take, bishop g2 and knight b6, and already you're kind of able to see why this isn't a good move. So if we compare to the other two positions, we are developed, but we have this isolated d4 pawn without a pawn in front almost as a blocker. So in this position, it just feels like I have a weak pawn, and black already got the pawn back, so it feels like you didn't really make them struggle very much. Hey, thank you for the follow, Gameborn 2016. This will be on my YouTube channel as well at the Chess Lobster. So just trying to get some content out there, so appreciate it. So after they've played knight b6, I feel like, okay, I've got a pretty good understanding of what black is trying to do here. So once I do that, I go through the end of each line and I put a few comments. So after here, I put the bishop on g2 feels less bullyable compared to the bishop on c4. The higher win percentage makes sense to me. So then on this other line I looked at, I walked through what if they take. Looks like we get some nice rapid development. So just put a few comments, not going to spend too much time on this, want to keep the video short. But the idea is after you've walked through the top moves and tried to get an understanding of the common plans, you add a few comments. I think this is really important because then you gain like your own understanding of the position and it sticks in your head a little bit better. So, all right, we've got a minor understanding and we can think back to the game where we just got crushed and we can say, okay, I kind of know what went wrong. So now we're on to the final stage. How do we make sure it doesn't go wrong again? So some players can just go back to their chessbase files and just be like, oh, I will review this right before my game and they'll actually remember it. So that's not me. I find just doing chess-based files kind of like taking notes in high school or college. You look at it once and you tell yourself you'll review it before the test or quiz, but you don't. There's something to be said for gaining knowledge just from writing notes down, but I like to take it one step further. So that's what I use Chessable for, is I take these notes in this line from the critical moment that I keep talking about, the loss of thread moment here, and I take the critical line I want to play, so here queen b3, and I plug it into chessbase. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So let me find the right. Okay, I messed this up, but hang on with me. I'm going to go to Chessable in a second. One moment. Okay, Chessable. Very weird. Give me 1 second, kind viewer. There we go. Okay. So I got a few different things, but one of these things I have is called a mistake list. It just has all the things I did wrong in games that I lost. And the way that I add positions to this is I go to Tools, Opening Explorer, click Load Position, and you can copy and paste the position from the game as an FEN right here. There's something on chessbase called copy position. You can also on Lichess, just like in the little share guy, you can grab the FEN and put it here. So let's just say, I'm just going to throw a few moves on here. Sure. I click load position. I'll just do add to course here. You do add to course, you put all your comments, give it a name, and now I would select mistake list right here. So I'm going to go back to my courses just to show this line here. I just added it. Okay, I guess I didn't add it. Where did it go? All right, it disappeared. But let's just do a different one, for example. So here's a different game where I did this type of correction, and I memorized a line and I put it in here. So in the game here, I played knight f8. What is the novelty attack we've learned from a Carlsen game? So we have this, I think it's this. Bishop a4, trying to remember, I just added this earlier today in the same method I went through in the video. Bishop a4, okay, rook e7, and we sacrificed this, knight b6, a5, a4, Oh, incorrect. Oh, so this first to hit that, and then this. Okay. So yeah, that's the idea, is you put in your own notes and you learn from it. So thanks. That's all for now, and have a good day.